We'll go ahead and start with Jason. The first question and your thoughts, and the panelists are free to join in as well. Can you provide examples of common AI-related cyber incidents that businesses might face?
Sure. Yeah, I think one of the ones that came to mind on this question was Air Canada had an issue with one of their chatbots back in 2022 based on their policy for discounted airline tickets. And a customer was chatting with their chatbot to figure out if he had a death in the family and wanted to fly home. And they apparently had the AI told them they had discounted ticket rates for that situation. So he booked the very expensive next day travel, expecting to get a discount, and then ended up taking them to court when he didn't get the discount. And the judge actually ruled that if your chatbot says something on your company's behalf, you have to honor it. So providing accurate information from AI tools is a pretty important aspect.
Sure, sure. Shalane, would you like to add to that?
It's very unique. I think I just read a story today about a learning and development organization that specializes in security awareness training called KnowBe4 was scammed by someone using AI technology to pretend to be a candidate. They had gone through the interview process, the background checking and verification process, and once they shipped the laptop to the candidate, it turned out to be someone in South Korea that was trying to upload malware and things like that. So the long and short of it all is even when we're using technologies such as AI to help make processes more efficient, we still need to be cognizant of the fact that things can be faked and people can be impersonated, and to really add some more rigor around those processes that we're trying to increase efficiency in.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, good example on that. Lori, would you like to add to that as well?
Yeah, I think the one that Jason cited is one of my favorite because the legal defense for that one was essentially, I didn't do it, the robot did it. That's not going to get you off the hook, right? Like, I'm sorry, we're not at that, we're not in the the Asimov universe where robots are people and have their own legal standing at this point. If you have that code running in your environment, you are liable for what that code does. And it doesn't matter what it says, it doesn't matter why it says it, it's you. And I think, to Shlane's point also, so keeping an eye on what we're running in our environment is like job number one, but also realizing that the advent of generative AI has allowed our threat actors, whether they be nation states or like, some 16-year-old who bought something off the dark web, it has given them an access to sophistication that they have previously not had. So I can get that large language model to create a whole persona of an entire person that can get through your onboarding processes, your background checks, your hiring, and get into your organization. So you gotta stay frosty right now.
Right. Yeah, and that's very important to bring up as well. But as an organization, I mean, are there AI regulations in place or things to address things like that so that can help prevent that from happening? What do you think companies should do to really stay focused and avoid those types of things from happening as far as regulations and as a company overall?
Well,
Any thoughts on that?
there are no regulations to date because
Okay.
it's too new. So what you can do is, as an organization, you develop policies and you go back to security basics, security 101. You have policies and procedures that fit your organization and fit the business that you're operating. And you educate and train and make aware your employees and your workforce around how to protect your company, your business, and themselves. The biggest vector, or the largest vector for most organizations, especially smaller organizations or nonprofit organizations, will be social engineering. And that's just basic scam artists, and they're coming at you all the time pretending to be someone that they're not. It's the old language is a con artist. They're running the long con nowadays. Like, the short con is no longer it. They're running the long con and the long game. So educating and making yourselves aware of who might be, or what you might have that someone else would want, or what you might have that someone else would want to destroy, and making people aware of that, and then putting mechanisms in place to protect those things. The laws and the regulations aren't going to save you. Because data is the new bacon. Everybody wants data, everybody wants information, and your data is just the new bacon. So
Yeah, there's no discrimination against the data, right? That's out there. It's a matter of just finding it and using it. Understand. Jason, would you like to add to that?
I agree 100% with Shalane. Yeah, I think going back to fundamentals and reviewing, making sure your policies are, up to date, I think. But then a lot of them just go back to data security and where you put your data. And the enticement of AI is that your data, all of your data, can be enhanced or made more valuable. And so the likelihood for people to put all of their data in AI is a little different than most other systems where you just put some of your data. So we have to be careful. And I think that's where, you go back to fundamentals and you do training, you do your policies and security. With that, I think there's a couple things you could reference. I know the White House has released some initiatives to start some regulation in this space. But yeah, it is too new. There's some state laws, I think, around minor things like maybe you can't use AI in hiring decisions because they've been shown to be pretty unfair and easily manipulated. So fairness and bias are usually a pretty big deal in those cases. But yeah, I think going back to basics, fundamentals, educate your staff on how to use what you can use, what you shouldn't do, and staying on top of that.